Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show. What is the latest on Bruno Fernandes? Apparently, he's got to give an answer to Al Hilal tonight. What is the latest on Bruno? We will discuss that, but we're not going to spend too much time on Bruno Fernandes unless any breaking news comes out in this live stream. There is a news report that's just come out right now from ESPN about Chelsea considering Kobbie Mainoo. We might touch upon that later on in today's show. But what I want to talk about more importantly is obviously the latest on Mbeumo, the latest on Gyökeres, Mastanuono and Hojlund, two players that Ruben Amorim wants gone, two players that Amorim wants replacements for, two key areas, but also the fact that United need to move. For some reason, Cunha, who's been living in England the last 4 years, needs to get a visa to move to Man United, where anybody else can sign and sell everybody else really quickly. It's frustrating. So there's delays in the Cunha deal, but we've missed out on Delap. Juventus moving for Gyökeres, Newcastle moving for Mbeumo. United have got to move quick. Manchester City moving for Cherki, making a bid. Mastanuono's a done deal for PSG essentially. Delap's gone, Mastanuono's gone. Gyökeres could go. United have got to hurry up and move. And look, I know we need to sell players. I know Ruben Amorim is done with a couple of players in the squad and wants them gone. But yeah, there is talk of Benjamin Sesko to Man United, but I like he's going to Arsenal. Apparently, we're interested in Sesko according to Build, but he's going to Arsenal. So I feel that a lot of the Benjamin Sesko rumours today are a little bit pointless. That United are in contact with Sesko, Vivel, and the RB clubs. I think Sesko is very much Arsenal bound. We'll talk about Cunha, dressing room leaks, and everything that you need to know in today's show. So, big up everybody watching today's video. We're going to get into all the latest news, all the latest stories. I do hope you're all good, and yeah, we'll get into it now. So, not going to spend too much time talking about Bruno, but United now that's got good sources in and around the club said the feeling within the club is that Bruno will leave. That seems to be the feeling. We don't know for sure, but the feeling is right now, well, he said yes to the Saudi project in the sense of he wants to know more about it. His agent is flying out to Saudi Arabia. Conversations are ongoing. He gets to play in the Club World Cup. He might have Inzaghi as his manager. They're bringing in a lot of good players. Al Hilal. He's also offered 200 million over 3 years, and he will be the third highest paid player out there. I think as part of his deal, he'll get things like certain rights of the commercial stuff as well. So I look at it and I think, well, obviously, this is a deal that Bruno would definitely be considering. If Man United were in the Champions League, we won the Europa League, I don't think it would be a question. I think Bruno would be here. But we're not in the Champions League. We're not in Europe at all. What is the point in Bruno staying when he's won the FA Cup, he's won the Carabao Cup, and that's all he's going to win with us next year because we're not going to win the Premier League, being realistic. What was interestingly said by Romano on his YouTube channel last night was that Al Hilal are ready to pay whatever Manchester United want to sign Bruno. And I think that's why Manchester United are maybe more open to this move. They're saying, whatever you want, Man United will sit there and ask for 150 million. If they're willing to pay Bruno 200 million to be there for 3 years, they can pay Manchester United 150 million for Bruno, because people may not think Bruno's worth 150 million, but he's worth 150 million to Manchester United. It's up to Bruno, a 4-year contract, apparently not free. His agent is in contact with Saudi since Monday. But even Romano said there has to be some indications that Bruno was open to the move, because why would his agent be in Saudi negotiating this deal? His agent has been there since Monday. Apparently Bruno and his agent is going to have a conversation today, and we could get a decision tonight. I don't know if Man United are flying back today or tomorrow. I feel like, but there's going to be a decision soon, because the Club World Cup starts in exactly 2 weeks today. And Bruno will want to be involved in that. Also 2 weeks tomorrow, sorry. United need to move fast with sell and buy. We need to start proper Amorim system, and for pre-season that's important. Yeah, Amorim has made it clear he does not want to lose Bruno Fernandes. He's made that very, very clear. However, I think Ineos are looking at it thinking, well, we want to move for this player and that player, and we might lose out on this player and that player. Ineos are looking at it and they're thinking, look, 100+ million in pure profit could allow them to spend an extra 200 million this summer if they lose Bruno. And without Champions League football, Bruno might be the piece that is used to make up for the fact there's no Champions League football to help out finances, which I don't like. Look, if you get 150 million for Bruno, I feel like you can't say no because of his age and how much United need that. But I do think it would be a significant loss losing Bruno. If we sell Bruno for 80 million or 100 million, I'll be fuming. If we sell him for 120 million plus, more understanding. I'd want 150 million, but I think 120 million with age is more realistic. Doubt we can beat City to Cherki. Well, I'm going to talk about that because Manchester City is set to put in a bid, which may push Manchester United to make a move and put in a bid, but they are focused on Mbeumo. I don't think Cherki is a Pep Guardiola player, if I'm going to be totally honest. But we will talk about that because that is quite interesting. But I want to discuss Mbeumo because that is who we are looking at. And I think if we don't get Mbeumo, there'll be Semenya links, Cherki links, Dibbling links, Mastanuono is obviously gone. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm just looking at the chat as well. Some people said they would actually sell Bruno for 80 million, which I think is crazy. Liverpool got like, 50 million for a washed Fabinho, who wasn't good in his last season. Like, Bruno's 100 million plus, because that's what he's worth to us. Anyway, let's get into the Mbeumo news. So Man United have opened talks with Mbeumo. Sean Connolly says that Man United remain keen on pursuing a deal for Mbeumo, but they face stiff competition from UCL-bound clubs such as Newcastle. Manchester United have contacted Bryan Mbeumo to explore a possible move to Old Trafford this summer, said Sully, who's very credible as well. So United have obviously opened some talks and opened some contact with Bryan Mbeumo. We know that there's interest there. Ben Jacobs obviously spoke about it, and losing Bruno could potentially allow us to make moves for someone like Mbeumo or Gyökeres earlier on. The Muppeteers did say United remain interested, and it is still my understanding that another club is present favourite due to the project that's offering Champions League. However, no decision has been made by Mbeumo yet. United would need to improve their finances before making a move from Mbeumo. I think if we sell a player, we make a move from Mbeumo. There's talk of Garnacho going, there's talk of Rashford going. Sancho's to Chelsea will happen if Sancho lowers his wages, and we believe that we will be able to sell Anthony. Obviously, if Bruno goes, then we've got the funds right away to move for Mbeumo as well. But, we could be caught out and beaten to it by Newcastle. And, maybe we should have let Villa get back into that game and have the draw, because Newcastle can offer him Champions League football and we can't, which may give Newcastle a significant advantage in that race. Do you think we'll get Mbeumo? I don't know. I think it's 50-50. I think it's between us and Newcastle. I think if we sell someone in the next week, I think we could get Mbeumo, because I think we've then got the funds to make the move. But something tells me I think Newcastle are leading the Mbeumo race right now, if I was going to be honest. Alice, do you think we'll go for Sesko? I don't believe that we're in the Sesko race. I think Man United's name is just being used to try and hurry up Arsenal to bid up what RB want. Let's just throw him, because Man United have had interest in Sesko for a while. So let's link Sesko to Man United. We know Man United pay ridiculous fees for a striker. Maybe that will get Arsenal to hurry up and pay RB what they want for Sesko. But I think Sesko is going to Arsenal. Yeah, people are saying Bruno is not worth 80 million, but they literally were going to pay 90 million for Matoma. Bruno Fernandes is a lot better than Matoma. Like, I think Matoma is a good player, but compare Bruno and Matoma. Saudi were willing to bid 90-ish million for Matoma. They can give us at least 120 million for Bruno Fernandes. You make a very good point. At least 120 million. Big up everybody in the chat. Look, in regards to Mbeumo, we've missed out on Delap. As far as I'm aware, the deal we're now working on is Mbeumo. We've missed out on Delap. We've had contact with Mbeumo. Personal terms won't be an issue, but just because Mbeumo is open to the Man United move doesn't mean he's going to pick us. Delap was open to 4 clubs. He was open to hearing out 4 or 5 football clubs. He picked Chelsea. And Mbeumo was open to both Manchester United and Newcastle, and probably other clubs that are in for him, but he's not made a decision yet. No, United don't think personal terms would be an issue with Mbeumo. They're working on potentially pursuing a deal for Mbeumo, but apparently before we can make any concrete moves, we may need another sale. But Mbeumo seems to be the deal we're working on. It's a little frustrating because I just feel like I know we've got throat's gone there. I know. What's that? Throat's gone. Oh, my throat just completely went there. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. I know we've got Cunha, and Cunha done early is great. But I want one more attacking signing done in the next week or two. I think we could miss out. We're missing out on Mastanuono. We could be missing out on Cherki. We've missed out on Delap. You know, I know that we might need to sell to buy someone, but I look at it and I go, look, just do what you can to get Mbeumo. Just honestly, Man United, do what you can to get Brian Mbeumo in the door. Like Cunha's done, cool, but we don't want to fall behind. Look at Liverpool. Look at City. Look at just City want to bring in Reinders, sorry, Cherki. Oh, sorry, my throat is just gone. Bear with me. I don't know what's going on with my throat tonight. City want to bring in Reinders, Gibbs-White, Cherki, all in early. They spent like 200 million in January. Liverpool have won the league. Wirtz, Frimpong, Kirkes, looking at Akite. Chelsea have already got the lap. We want to make sure we don't fall behind. That's what I'm trying to say. Alice, Ineos isn't what you think they are. They are directionless, not capable of doing transfers competitively, waiting for any sales to move forward, get sale of Bruno done. I do think that Ineos want to sell Bruno so then they can start to make moves and they won't make moves without a sale. And this is my thoughts on Ineos. Right now, Ineos have got a 0 out of 10 because we've had our worst ever season ever in my lifetime and finished 15th. Right now, Ineos want a 0 out of 10, but I said I will give Ineos 3 years before I make a conclusion on them. Right now, the feelings of Ineos are negative. They're not as negative as the Glazers. I prefer Ineos to the Glazers because at least we have Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox and people coming in that are a lot better than Edward Wood and Murta. They haven't proven themselves yet, but I do think what we did last summer was better than the summers before, but it wasn't enough. The Glazers are like, I don't know. The Glazers are like really bad and Ineos are a little bit better. I think with Ineos in 3 years' time, I will judge them because it will take them 3 years to undo the Glazers' mess. Right now, I'm not happy with Ineos. Right now, I'm not fully convinced with Ineos, but I do think they've brought some of the right people in. I do think that this is a project that is long term, and I do think that I will give them 3 seasons before I make my conclusions on whether they're good or bad. I'm not the biggest fan. I prefer them to the Glazers. I think they're better than the Glazers, but I think there would have been better options out there for ownership, and I think we can all agree on that. I have concerns around Ineos. I don't like the way they do certain things, but I do think they're a lot better than the Glazers. But they weren't who I wanted. I didn't want Ineos in the first place. I wanted a full sale. So far, they seem just as bad as the Glazers where we finished and the cuts they do, but I feel like they had to. I don't agree with the cuts at all. I think the way we've gone about it is soulless, but I do think they had to sort of do a lot of that because of how bad the club was run before they came in. And I feel like because they're making all the tough decisions, because the Glazers are taking a step back, but they have to make all these tough decisions because of how bad the Glazers run us. We struggled against Hong Kong and All Stars. It was embarrassing. We are one of the worst teams in the Premier League. Need a rebuild, start over. We do. The fact that we couldn't for the All Stars game in the first half versus Hong Kong, we didn't score a goal. We couldn't score a goal in 135 minutes of football against these Asian teams. We couldn't break them down. And look, yes, I know it's postseason. We're not given 100%. There's rotated lineups, but the fact that we couldn't break them down was quite worrying. It's like, can we break anyone down? There was that element of it. Anyway. Let's talk about Onana because Garnacho isn't the only player Amorim is fed up with. I did a video on this time last week, or Sunday, sorry, last week. I dropped an exclusive, which people, gave me a load of stick for and said, what exclusive, what source? And then a couple hours after I dropped that exclusive, it was confirmed that Onana was dropped from the lineup. And I said in my exclusive that Onana would be dropped from the lineup. I obviously dropped an exclusive on Sunday that Onana had been told he could leave Manchester United. Then, obviously, a couple of other sources have confirmed that since. It has now been said by another source that Ruben Amorim has made his intentions clear to the club's hierarchy, informing them that he wants Andre Onana sold as he seeks to bring in his own preferred goalkeeper. So Ruben Amorim's made it clear to the board, to Manchester United, he wants a goalkeeper. And I said that last week. Ruben Amorim does not want Onana. He does not want Onana. Yeah, I'm going to get up what I said here. Bear with me, guys. But Ruben Amorim does not want Onana. What? Bear with me, guys. He wants a new goalkeeper, and he's made that clear. Okay. This is what I said last Sunday. This is information that I got told last Sunday, which has basically been proven right, as I said. But I obviously spoke out last Sunday before the match, it was in the morning, that Manchester United were willing to move on Onana. This is what I got. Andre Onana has been told he can look for a new club in the summer. He's unhappy about missing out on Champions League football, especially with his 25% wage cut kicking in, and is open to a Saudi move. This is correct. Selling him won't be easy due to his 26 million book value, but Amorim wants a number one. Amorim has told Onana he can look for a new club. Amorim has made it clear to Ineos he wants a new number one goalkeeper. United may look to use funds from Bay and Deer's sale to bring in a better keeper to challenge Onana, but they're still hopeful a deal could be done for Onana. Bay and Deer is more likely to go than Onana. Amorim is not happy with the player. Amorim will back Onana if he stays. He knows that it will be difficult to offload Onana, but Amorim is basically wants a new goalkeeper, and it's if we sell Bay and Deer and keep Onana, whoever we replace Bay and Deer with has got to be better than Bay and Deer. The chances of Onana playing in today's match is considered low, and then that was at 10 a.m. Yeah, 11 a.m. 5 hours later, it was confirmed that Onana wasn't in the squad. So that was information I got last week. And then Romano gave a few updates as well on Onana and his future. But we know that Ruben Amorim wants a new goalkeeper. Like, it's no secret. He's told Onana to leave, from what I've been told. He's told Onana to leave. He's told Ineos that he wants a new goalkeeper. Like, it's been said by many sources that, Ruben Amorim wants a new keeper. A goalkeeper has to be brought to push Onana out, whether he's sold or not. 100%. 100%. Do you think we'll keep Onana? It's difficult because I think our only hope of letting Onana go is Saudi. He had talks with that Saudi club Neon, but it wasn't advanced as first reported. The problem with Onana is when he makes a save, he pushes it right into the danger zone. He does. Do you think Ten Hag could buy Onana? Let's hope so. But no one really wants Onana right now. Like, it's not even that he's been bad and he's at Manchester United, but he's just... Not many people want Onana. We can't sell Onana unless we get £26 million. And I don't even know if many Saudi clubs would want to spend £26 million on Onana when he's very mistake prone. That is the problem. Amorim has made it clear he wants Onana sold so we can bring in a new first choice keeper. If we sell Bay and Deer, we bring in a second choice keeper, which we hope will push Onana. But Amorim's made it clear he wants Onana sold so he can bring in his own keeper. But selling Onana is getting £26 million out of another club for Onana. With his recent performances, selling Onana will be difficult. It will be difficult. Ineos just seem clueless to me. Top-level football, not just about cuts. Yeah, 100%. They've ruined the atmosphere of all the cuts, 100%. Who wants Onana? That's the problem. We want Onana gone, but who's going to buy him? We want Joan Garcia. Like, if Ruben Amorim had it his way, we'd sell Onana tomorrow and we'd probably sign Joan Garcia. But that's easier said than done. But look, Amorim is done with Onana. He's done with Onana. He's told the club, find me a goalkeeper. He's told Onana to look for a new club. But it's easier said than done. Another player who isn't the most highly rated within Amorim is Hojlund. Ben Jacobs said this: there's still interest from Italian clubs in Rasmus Hojlund. A sale will be difficult as it will likely be a loss on the books. Keeping him or a loan this summer is more viable. This is the problem with Hojlund, and this is the problem with Onana, because we brought them 2 windows ago, is that because we're paying in installments, there's still a lot of money left on their book value that we haven't paid off for them yet. So if we sell Hojlund for less than 40 million, it counts as a loss on PSR and we have less money to spend. If we keep Hojlund, we have more money to spend than if we sold Hojlund for 35 million, which makes no sense, but that's just PSR, the way it works. Same with Onana. If we keep Onana, or we sell Onana for 15 million pounds, we will have 10 million less to spend in the summer. And people say, well, that doesn't make sense, but that's just sadly how PSR works. So we're in this problem where Ruben Amorim is not just Garnacho he wants gone, he wants Onana gone. He's not the biggest fan of Hojlund, but he can't move them on so easily. That's the worrying problem. Need to loan Rasmus to raise his value. I agree. Joan Garcia is a good price, should be all over it. £21 million, we should be all over it, but we can't unless we sell Onana. Unless we got like 10 million for Bay and Deer, maybe we could do it. Garcia is affordable regardless. Yeah, he is affordable. Like, I would look at it if we sold Bay and Deer and maybe signing him would further push Onana out. Like, that's something that I would look at. Let's talk about Hojlund then, because I do think Hojlund could be done at United. This is, again, based off information that I have got through someone I spoke to, and that is that some figures at the club still believe Rasmus Hojlund has the tools to become United's long-term striker. I know, after the performances this season, there are still people in the Man United hierarchy that believe in Hojlund's potential, believe that he needs to get over whatever's affecting him now because they saw what they saw last season. And there is people at the top of United that do like Hojlund. They think the data makes him the perfect long-term striker. And when you look at Hojlund, his physical abilities, his speed, his height, he should be a lot better than he is. However, there's a lot of the senior figures' opinion on Hojlund is probably changing this season, but some of them still believe he can be a top striker. Maybe a loan is a good option, However, Ruben Amorim and his coaching staff do not rate Hojlund. I'm going to tell you that for a fact. Ruben Amorim and his coaching staff, they might see there's potential in Hojlund for the future, and it's not all Hojlund's fault. But Amorim made it clear to the United board, it's not just a new goalkeeper he wants. He wants a new striker. They don't fully rate Hojlund. Amorim and his coaches have come in, and Hojlund hasn't done anything to impress him. The club may see something in Hojlund from his first season, but Amorim and the coaching staff, they're not convinced by Hojlund. They're not. And decision makers have now got to look at potential versus immediate impact this summer. Hojlund has a lot of potential, but we aren't unlocking that potential, and he's not going to unlock that potential. I think the only way Hojlund is going to have a career at Manchester United is he goes out on loan, smashes it on loan, comes back, new player, new confident player, and it works at United, and he has better teammates around him and more service. I think that's the only way it works. I think Hojlund will have a good career. I do, but not at United right now. I think he's so far done at Manchester United. So far done. Basically, Amorim has basically made it clear to the board, striker, goalkeeper. Hojlund needs to be sold, let him have a fresh start somewhere else. I still believe he can be a good player, but just not at United. Fresh start. I don't know why we spent 72 million on Hojlund. Yeah, I don't think anyone knows. Hojlund was a £40 million player that we spent £64 million on and got add-ons to 72 million. The news on Mbeumo is both Manchester United and Newcastle were in for him. Manchester United will have to sell to make a move. Newcastle have Champions League football, so they're seen as having potentially the advantage. I think Rasmus cracked under pressure. He even looks decent with Denmark, needs a new club. I think it's the pressure. I think he's overthinking everything at United, but it's so painful. We're playing Hong Kong and they're seeing all-stars, and Hojlund is falling over the ball. His touch is bad. It isn't just Premier League games. He's coming up against players that never played Premier League or top 5 league football in their life, and he's falling over the ball, and his touch is off, and everything is off. It's so off at the moment that I think it is Manchester United, because he was all right for Denmark. It absolutely was all right for Denmark. I think it is a Man United right now. It needs to get out. It needs to get out. Hojlund and Onana for me are pretty much Amorim wants them gone and replaced. Now, let's talk about done deal, because Manchester United have been working on a deal for Franco Mastanuono. So Real Madrid had some interest, but he will be joining PSG. It was said by Demartio that PSG have won the race for Mastanuono. It's over for Madrid. So yeah, that's a bit of a blow, because Look, obviously Mbeumo is the focus, but had we missed out on Mbeumo, I think we would have been looking at Mastanuono. He's obviously a great talent. Since the next Cole Palmer will be a great addition for PSG. That's another one. I think he's better suited to Amorim's system than Enrique's system as well. But when Man United 16th and look at the PSG project, of course he's going to pick PSG over us. If you're a young lad and you've watched Man United and PSG this season, you're going to want to play for PSG. So that is a blow for Man United that the deal is done for Mastanuono and PSG. That is a big blow for Manchester United, and our alternatives to Mbeumo were Cherki and Mastanuono. Cherki and Mastanuono were apparently the alternatives to Mbeumo, but then we're hearing, if I can get it up, that Manchester City is set to submit their opening bid for Cherki. So, Mastanuono's gone, and our other Mbeumo alternative is Cherki that Man City are going to make a bid for. Now, some sources suggest that maybe Manchester City, ramping up their interest in Cherki could trigger Man United into entering the race and putting in a bid for Cherki. But we're in a position now where we've lost Mastanuono. Romano is saying that Man City are making a bid for Cherki. Who are our targets? Semenyo, where he's sent out a budget because of the amount of players that Bournemouth have sold. Dibling's very young and inexperienced. Who are the alternatives to Mbeumo? Because there's nothing to say that we're going to get Mbeumo over Newcastle. We're just both interested. There is obviously reports coming out from Portugal that we're interested in Pedro Gonzalez. Is it Gonzalez? Especially if Bruno Fernandes leaves. But Sporting wants 67 million. That's more than they want for Gyökeres, which is ridiculous. It's just, that's the whole situation. Mastanuono and Cherki gone. We need to get Mbeumo. We need to get Mbeumo. That's what we have to do. Alex makes a good point here. PSG totally changed their project and profile with the types they target and been brilliant for them. They haven't gone for the big Galactico, Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe anymore. They've gone for proper young talent that's hungry, that wants to be there. They've built a team. It's not about Galacticos. And look, I look at this. I look at Real Madrid. They're buying all the big names. They're buying all the Galactico players. And Real Madrid may have the best 11 players on paper, but they can't play as a team. And I think PSG learn. It's not about buying all these big name money stars. They all want to be the main man. They all fight over being the main man. You need to build a team. And hopefully that's what we do for Ruben Amorim. We need to build a team. I mean, we don't really have a main man because we're crap. But it's, PSG could win the Champions League tonight, which is mad because Mbappe's left. Obi looks good, yeah. I mean, like right now, if we had a Premier League match tomorrow, right now, Obi is starting over Hojlund for me. Obi, who is 17 years of age, is starting over Hojlund for me if we had a Premier League match tomorrow. Because, look, it's only a scene All-Stars, it's only Hong Kong. But in both those games, Obi's movement was better than Hojlund. He scored 2 goals. Obi's touch was better than Hojlund. I'm worried because I know Hojlund isn't as bad as he's been playing these last few months. But every aspect of what Obi did is better than Hojlund. Every single aspect of his touch, his movement, his finishing. Hojlund is falling over the ball. I look at it and I just think, I generally believe there's a player in Hojlund. But I'm just like, how has it got so bad? How has it got so bad for Hojlund? Like, how has he got this bad? It's worrying. Like, and people say, he gets no service. But Obi has got and created somewhat chances for him. Like, I don't think Hojlund gets loads of service, and I think if he's playing for Manchester City, he gets a bit more service. But we have to look at his movement. We could trade Hojlund for Sesko with 40 million. I don't think Sesko's a lot better than Hojlund, especially if we're going off this season. But I think Sesko's incredibly raw, has a lot of limitations. I think he could be swallowed up by Man United. I think Sesko, if I was Sesko, I'd pick Arsenal over Man United because I think he could get swallowed up by Man United. I think we need someone that is a bit more ready-made. There has been links to Sesko because of Vivel. I think Sesko will go to Arsenal. I think Arsenal is the right move for Sesko. I think that Sesko would get swallowed up at United. Like, I like Sesko. I like Delap. I think they're all improvements on Hojlund. But I do think that United, when it comes to getting a striker, Gyökeres, Osimhen, someone that is a ready-made 9 now. In the past when we brought in Ibrahimovic, we brought in Ronaldo, we brought in Cavani, look what they did. People didn't like that we brought in Cavani, but look what he did in that one season. Look what Ronaldo did. He got 20 goals. Look what, Zlatan did. It might be expensive. You might have to pay a bit extra in wages, but that big striker makes a difference. And look, Sesko's good, Akite's good, Delap is good, but I just think you look at number 9s and do you know what? Give them a bit more. If Bruno goes, who's our highest earner, and if Casemiro goes, you've got the money to say, you know what, we'll let someone come in on quite a big wage because I think being a striker for Man United, you need to be at the top of your game. The worry is, would you only go to United for the wage? That's the only thing. Victor Osimhen is happy to go to Saudi because they're going to pay him the most. If Man United matched what Saudi is going to give Victor Osimhen, is he only going to Man United for the wages? Does he care? That's the only question, I guess. But I'm happy to bring in a big, experienced striker. I really am. That's what we need. Hojlund is not bad because he's young. His overall performances aren't normal. Yes and no. Hojlund is young, he's raw, he's lacking confidence, he's in an unsustainable environment and system, and I think if he left Manchester United, he could flourish elsewhere. But there is something wrong with Hojlund. There's being bad, but he's been really bad. Like, he's in a negative environment, his confidence is low. Last season, he was hit and miss, but he showed enough promise last season for me to get behind him. I defended Hojlund up until about the time Ruben Amorim came in, and I was like, I can't defend this guy any longer. I can't. I defended Hojlund the first year and a half as at Man United because there was enough potential sin in his first season. So even when he had a bad game, he did more things. In his first season, his touch was better, his pass was better, his movement was better. He got 16 goals. And then in this season, he's regressed. And I think some of it is to do with United, the environment being sucked out, the lack of confidence. Because I think Hojlund showed enough in his first season to say this could be a good player. I do. But I think he's been so bad that it isn't normal how bad he's been lately against All-Stars in Hong Kong. I think he needs summer. I think he needs a break. Something's not right. Scott says Gyökeres is coming. This has been a done deal, I think, for some time. I hope you're right, but I don't think so. If Bruno's going, we must make it party stream. I don't think Bruno leaving is a good thing for Man United. Yes, we get money, but where would we be without a guy that's got 40 goal contributions for us, a team that scores no goals this season from deep midfield? People might party if Bruno leaves, but I think it's sad. I think the money will be useful, But I think if Bruno leaves, it will be sad. I want to get into the Gyökeres news, as someone just brought it up. Arsenal getting Sesko. Could United have a free run at Gyökeres? That now Juventus are interested, though. This has been said. Manchester United's dream target in attack is Gyökeres, but the deal is difficult without Champions League. After missing out on the lap, there's several options, and United will make a decision on the first target soon. Ben Jacobs said if Bruno Fernandes leaves, there's a definite chance of Manchester United moving for Victor Gyökeres. But Matteo Moretti said that Juventus have now made contact. Arsenal don't seem to be in for Victor Gyökeres anymore, despite unreliable reports saying they are. Arsenal seem to be focused and have chosen Sesko. So maybe that opens the door for Gyökeres to United, but Gyökeres reportedly does want Champions League football, and that is important to him. However, we have Ruben Amorim. He's not going to Arsenal. There's less options. If Bruno goes, we've got the funds. Yeah, it's I don't know. There's probably a bit of a Gyökeres boost with this whole Arsenal getting Sesko, and I think that Gyökeres is still on. It's way more likely than Osimhen, and I hope we get Gyökeres. But something tells me he will just go to a Champions League club. Alice, what did you think of Aiden Heaven? I thought Aiden Heaven was excellent. I think Aiden Heaven for 1.5 million could end up being the best business we've done post Alex Ferguson. Like Aiden Heaven for 1.5 million, how he's played well at left centre back, central centre back. He's shown he's ready. He suits the system. Aiden Heaven for 1.5 million is looking like a great bit of business. Like right now, if someone came in for Aiden Heaven, I think we're well within our rights after him playing about 4 games to ask for 30 million quid. And people might say it's crazy. But I think Aiden Heaven this time next year could be a 50, 60 million pound centre back if he gets more minutes. I think he could push Leach out the team. I think that he's going to get minutes next season if he stays fit. I think for 1.5 million pounds, Aiden Heaven has been very, very good. Very, very good. I'm impressed. I'm a big fan. Aiden Heaven and Shido won a trophy this season. Arsenal haven't. Aiden Heaven have won a trophy. We won a trophy versus Hong Kong. So Aiden Heaven and Shido have won a trophy before Arsenal. Low. Would you sell Hojlund? Yeah, if we get 50 million, 100%. I think realistically it's going to be a loan with an option to buy, but I would sell him. And yeah, Romano just gave an update on Cunha and basically said in regards to Cunha to Manchester United, he's just waiting for his visa. And that's sort of what the delay is in regards to Cunha. But listen, people, I'm going to redirect you over to Never a Foul. Never a Foul are going to have a good Premier League show in about 10 minutes. They're going to be live in about 10 minutes with a really good Premier League show and panel on. So make sure you go check out Never a Foul. I'm going to redirect you over there. But thanks everyone for watching today's news show. I will be back later. See you next time. Bye.